Hey ladies, how are you all today? Happy Wednesday, happy pregnancy talk day. So it looks like we'll get started. So today I want to talk about conscious birthing and tapping into your internal wisdom. So we're diving pretty deep into our being with this topic. In yoga, we have different levels of our being and we work to bring all of them into a balance. So we have the physical, we have the breath, we have the mind, we have the thoughts, and then we have our subtle energy, the most subtle part of our being, and then the physical is the most tangible part of our being. So how to birth consciously and what does it mean? So conscious birthing is tapping into your intuitive wisdom, your maternal wisdom. It's letting go of the fears that you have about childbirth, birthing into motherhood. Naturally, because we're feeling a fear of the unknown, especially if this is your first pregnancy. And then I also want to tap onto any fear that you may be feeling based off of your previous birth. Maybe there was a traumatic experience, or there's something about that experience that is bringing up fear for you in this birth. It's working to let that fear go. So whether it's the unknown for you or it's the known from the past experience. And when we're in that place of fear, naturally, we try and take control, right? Things are unknown. We're really afraid. So what do we do when we're afraid? We try and take control of things. And that's where yoga comes in to really help you tap into letting that fear go, because we need to learn to surrender. And I say that very gently. When it comes to having control of a situation or an outcome, we can try and take as much control as we'd like, but we're going to exhaust ourselves and the outcome might not be what we want it to be. So I invite you to surrender. Feel that fear, breathe into it, let it go. And it's a practice. That fear is good. Fear is actually a really good emotion. It can be a hindering emotion with our growth, especially if we allow it to take over and then we move from it all the time. But fear can be good. It keeps us safe. It shows that we really care about what we're doing or what we're about to embark on. And it's so loud that it really helps us bring awareness to what's going on internally in our mind. Our fear is based off of, it comes from thoughts. So in yoga philosophy, we have the mental body is what they call it. And it's the part of our being where we create thoughts. It's also the part of our being where our thoughts can actually be illusions. So when we have a fear of the unknown or even a fear from the past, we are automatically taking what we know, what we're imagining to happen in the future, and putting that in the future. But it's not really beneficial because we don't actually know it. We're imagining it. And based off of imagining that and slotting that imagination into the future, because there's nothing else to fit in there, so we feel we need to fit it, we then start to feel it in our body, right? Fear is that shakiness, it's chills, it's that feeling in our gut, it's, clammy hands, sweaty, heart palpitations. So that's when our physical body starts to feel based off of those thoughts. So what I invite you to do to tap into conscious birthing is to breathe into your fear and to release it. to know that what you're imagining for the future is imagination. You don't actually know. You're just trying to slot something in that space. That's a really powerful awareness to have. That changes the whole game. And then learning to breathe into that fear is a practice, and it may be daily, it may be hourly, and it's a practice. And every time you feel it come up, you stop, you breathe, and you release it. When we operate from fear, hi Tisha, hi Sean. When we operate from fear, it blocks us from connecting to our intuitive wisdom. We're too much in the thinking. We're out of our body. We're out of alignment in our body. And then therefore, it's much more challenging to tap into that inner knowing. Your body is amazing. Our bodies are amazing. And when it comes to our birthing journey, our body does know what to do. It's incredible. And it's okay if you feel you can't trust it. It's okay if you feel fear around the unknown. It's absolutely valid. It can be scary. And I invite you to acknowledge that and to say out loud, you know what? I'm really scared. Or I'm really unsure about this. Once you acknowledge it, it's validated. And then your ego will stop pressing you. Because when you ignore it, it's kind of like a toddler, our ego. If you ignore it, it just speaks louder and louder and louder and louder until you acknowledge it. So the first thing is to acknowledge any fears you have. And that could be about the birthing process. Maybe it's about motherhood. It's the steps after the birthing process. First step to tapping into your intuitive wisdom, acknowledge your fear if you feel any. Next step is to breathe into it. Oh, now my phone's going off. Breathe into it. Breathe it out of your body. So tapping onto intuition a little bit here. Intuition can come from your belly. You know the term, your gut feeling. That's your intuition. It also can come from your heart. It's that inner knowing. And it's usually that inner knowing that comes up that you feel like it's really hard to explain, but you just know. That's your intuition. And as you move into your birthing journey, that inner knowing will come up. You'll naturally know what to do. Your body will lead you. It will guide you. All you need to do is give yourself the space to listen. And you'll know. Trust yourself. You are powerful. You are incredible. And the steps that we can take to prepare for that, to really get comfortable and confident in connecting to our intuition, is through the prenatal yoga. I feel like the prenatal yoga movement is the best when it comes to feeling the sensations in our body, the contraction, the release of our muscles, the subtle sensations. And also the yoga poses bring up that state of fight or flight, especially in a pose where you feel challenging. It can bring up a place of, oh, I'm really uncomfortable here and I'm getting really impatient. Like, why isn't she bringing us out of the pose yet? Or, oh my goodness, I think I'm going to be stuck here forever in this pose. I can feel myself tightening up. All those thoughts that come in, and that's good. Because then that means, okay, what can we do with this? Are we going to choose to come out of the pose? Or are we going to choose to lean in to that and stay? And see what comes from the other side of feeling this discomfort. Learning to breathe into that and to release it is a really good practice for connecting to your intuition. And in yoga wisdom, when you actually stay in that moment, you make that choice based off of the thoughts that are coming up. The next level that you drop into from that space is bliss. which is incredible. Then we have the meditative side, which is really good for the thoughts, especially if we're working into the mind body, the mental body. Because when you tap into your meditation, you're tapping into the awareness of the thoughts that are flowing through your head. Did you know that only 3% of our thoughts are actually new? 97% of the thoughts that move through our head are old. They're old limiting beliefs. They're thoughts that are on a loop. They could be worries. They could be excitements. 97% is old thoughts just filtering around in circles. Only 3% is new. That's a lot of thoughts that are going through our brain. And the loudest ones, the fear ones, we're obviously aware of because we can feel it in our body. But what about the other ones? So when you close your eyes and you tap into your meditation practice, you are bringing awareness to all those thoughts that are coming through. And you're learning to acknowledge them and release them, which is so, so powerful when it comes to learning to release our fears. And then, of course, we have the breath. And I believe the breath is the key to everything in our well-being. It's actually described in Sanskrit as life force energy. Pranayama is the Sanskrit word for it. And prana is life force. And then ayama is the breath body. And when we really focus on taking that big inhale into our bellies, now I know as you move later on into your pregnancy, you're going to be like, I can't breathe into my belly. Baby is in the way. So then you take that big breath, as big as you can get it, into your lungs, into your chest. It may not even be that big of a breath. It could be short, but that's a big breath for you in the space that you're in. And when you focus on that, everything else follows. Your thoughts begin to calm down. Your body begins to relax. When you When you feel anxiety, what happens in your body? There's sweaty palms, tension somewhere. Normally it's up in the shoulders and the upper back, could be in the jaw. Then our thoughts begin to race, like really fast. And then we have short breaths. So when you focus on creating length in your breath, your thoughts follow and they go, oh, I don't need to move fast. I can slow down. And then your body follows and it goes, oh, I don't need to tense. I can relax. It's all about creating space for that. And I think that's where I want to leave it today. Does anyone have any questions? Is there anything that you would like more insight on when it comes to tapping into your intuition? Let me know. I'll give it a minute here. I'm so excited I got a few of you to join in for the live. Thank you. It's so nice connecting. I'll check here and see if there is actually another one I want to tap onto. You know what? I'm going to leave that for the next talk when we tap into intuition. There's so much I'd love to share with you. I could chat your ear off for days about just yoga and pregnancy and birth and our emotions, but I will leave it at that today. So thank you for connecting. And I didn't really introduce myself. I just dived straight into it. So for those of you who haven't connected with me yet, I'm Jadine, and Jade Tree Healing is my heart-centered business. I have been teaching yoga for about 5 years, and I've only launched the prenatal yoga program in January. So it's quite fresh. I spent all of last year training in pregnancy yoga, postnatal yoga, working with couples as well on the pregnancy journey. And the reason why I decided to move from just general gentle yoga classes into the pregnancy support is I've noticed that I draw a lot of pregnant women into my community. Pregnancy yoga has always been a passion of mine. It's always been an interest. Like since day one of the yoga teacher training, I remember sitting in the teepee, because we trained in a teepee, and I asked, are we going to tap into prenatal yoga a little bit? I would love to learn more about that. And we did tap into it a little bit, which was pretty amazing. And then as I moved through my journey, I used to do holistic treatments. I'm a Reiki therapist, massage. I do ear candling as well. Well, I did. I've actually ventured away from that part, except the Reiki does stay because I bring it into the yoga, that insight with the chakras and the energy. And when I did my Reiki treatments, I drew in a lot of women who needed that support with fear in their pregnancy, who needed support in staying calm during their IVF journey, which was honestly so beautiful to support women in that way. It lit my soul up, and I thought, man, I want to do more. And then it was January last year, between January and March last year, I had 10 women who was attending my yoga classes come up to me within these 3 months and announce that they're pregnant, which was amazing. I was like, oh my God, congratulations. That's so exciting. And then what else was going through my head was, crap, I can't support you right now, because I had the basic knowledge of learning how to modify for pregnancy, but I didn't have that training to support them on a very deep level in the way that I wanted to support them, which saddened me. And that was the turning point. I was like, okay, I'm doing this, and it feels like a sign. So I've spent all of last year diving into pregnancy, and I'm so happy about it. It has blown me away with all the knowledge I have learned from those trainings. And now that I've launched the prenatal yoga, it fills my soul every day to be able to support all of you in the best way I can, and on the level that you'll allow me to support you. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll connect with you for our pregnancy talks in May. Oh my goodness, it's almost May. Much love to you. Mwah.